Although the South Asian continent once created an ancient Indian civilization, since the decline of Indian civilization, the entire South Asian continent has been invaded by foreign tribes for a long time, and the South Asian continent has not only not achieved great unification, but has been in a state of many states and local divisions for a long time. Even the history of South Asia, where powerful dynasties such as the Pekan dynasty, the Kushan Empire, the Delhi Sultanate, and the Mughal Empire, only partially unified the South Asian continent was achieved, not the entire continent. However, the situation of the South Asian continent's many states and divisions changed radically after the arrival of the British, and through a series of conquests, the South Asian continent was basically subordinated to the British Empire, at least superficially submitted to the British Queen. Why then did the integration of South Asia, which had not been achieved for thousands of years, become a reality by the British? The South Asian plate has not been unified for thousands of years, and I think there are two main reasons. First, the geopolitical pattern of South Asia is not conducive to reunification. Although South Asia is a relatively independent geographical unit, the Himalayas to the north, the Hindu Kush Mountains to the northwest, the vast Indus and the Ganges Plains to the center, the Deccan Plateau to the south, and the Indian Ocean to the southeast, southwest and south. On the surface, such a layout structure is relatively closed and can be self-contained, but such a layout structure also has two fatal flaws in the agricultural area. The interior of the South Asian continent is divided into several plates: the high mountains in the north, the plain area in the central part, and the plateau area in the south. Because of the flat terrain, arable land and fertile land, the plain area has always been the focus of the dynasties, and it is also the main distribution area of India's population and urban civilization. So the dynasties will occupy the Indus and the Ganges plains. However, for the northern mountainous region and the southern Deccan Plateau region, due to the mountainous terrain and high altitude, it has long been occupied by some local ethnic groups. In particular, the southern region of the Deccan Plateau, due to its distance from the core area of northern India and the division of local ethnic groups, has not been unable to incorporate this area into the jurisdiction of the Indian dynasty. One of the distinctive features of the powerful dynasties established in India's history is that they were founded by the invading peoples of the northwest. Because South Asia was historically particularly vulnerable to foreign invasions, moreover, the dynasties of South Asia have not reflected, which have led to the inability to defend once the external invasion failed. Second, the lack of a strong centralized state. Several relatively powerful dynasties established in the history of South Asia, such as the Mauryan dynasty, the Kushan Empire, the Delhi Sultanate, and the Mughal Empire, etc. Although these dynasties were powerful, it was still difficult to integrate the entire South Asian continent by relying on the strength at that time. The reason why Chinese civilization can last for thousands of years is because China has been under a unified central government for most of its history. In India, only a few can achieve partial reunification, and complete reunification has never been achieved. Moreover, due to the constant invasion of foreign tribes, foreign forces dominate the development of South Asia, causing a fault in the indigenous civilization of India. Since each foreign force brings different cultures, and then exerts influence on India, this makes India a melting pot of nations and cultures. But since India cannot effectively integrate and absorb various cultures, and then form a stronger civilization, only in this historical view, repeats the process of being invaded and conquered by India. India has not completed the integration of South Asia for thousands of years, so why did it take the British more than 200 years to complete it? As the most powerful country in the world at that time, the reason why Britain was able to establish a powerful colonial empire was that, in addition to its own strong economic and military strength, Britain's advanced political system also became an important weapon for building a huge colonial empire. The reason why Britain has been able to achieve the conquest and integration of South Asia has adopted many strategies, and I will not give you a specific analysis. First, the British carried out the Millet conquest by building up a large Indian mercenary army. Britain's conquest of the South Asian continent was not entirely dependent on the British army, as Britain had colonies all over the world, and was too dispersed. In order to complete the conquest of the South Asian continent, the British began to recruit Indians in large numbers and formed a large Indian mercenary army. The British led this mercenary army to open up territory in South Asia and contributed to the successful integration of South Asia. Second, the United Kingdom adopts a policy of breaking down and dividing and conquering. When the British began to conquer India, in addition to the Mughal Empire, there were many kingdoms and local states in India, and these forces were separated by their own armed forces. If the United Kingdom wants to unify the entire South Asia region, it must submit these kingdoms and princely states to the United Kingdom. But if they are conquered by force, it will not only cost a lot, but also a very arduous task, and some princely states have nothing to do with the United Kingdom. Actual benefit. Therefore, the United Kingdom carried out military conquest against some large kingdoms and more prosperous states. This made other princely states see that if they did not submit to the British East India Company, they would inevitably be attacked by force, so they declared their submission to the Queen of England. After the native state declared its allegiance to the Queen of England, the British did not send troops to occupy the place, but let the original prince and king continue to manage, as long as they obeyed the management of the East India Company. Third, the United Kingdom provoked conflicts between kingdoms and princely states, causing them to kill each other and reap profits. There are many kingdoms and states in South Asia. There are conflicts between various forces due to religious conflicts, land disputes, ethnic conflicts, etc. The British East India Company used the contradictions between the various forces to sow discord and make them kill each other. They sit back and reap the benefits. For example, the East India Company instigated the Hindu Maharajas to attack Mysore, who believed in Islam, instigated the Hyderabad Maharajas to attack Mara, and provoked the relationship between the Mara Maharajas, causing extreme chaos before the East India Company came forward. Clean up the mess and establish your own colonial reform. Use war to support war, and gradually expand the results of the war. The British East India Company carried out colonial plunder during its conquest of India. In 1757, when it conquered the Bengal region, it robbed the Bangladeshi treasury, plundering various properties worth more than £15 million. In 1799, the British colonial army captured Mysore, looted the treasures of the royal family of Mysore, and stole wealth worth £50 million. The East India Company gained huge wealth through colonial conquests, and then used this wealth to continuously expand to surrounding areas, including Iraq, Sikkim and other areas into the British colonial territory, while infiltrating its power into Nepal, Bhutan, Afghanistan and other areas. Fifth, Britain monopolized the South Asian continent by defeating other Western powers. The South Asian continent is a piece of fat meat. Not only the British have been coveted for a long time. After the rise of Western colonial activities, the Portuguese, Dutch, French, etc. have extended their tentacles to South Asia and established colonies here. In order to monopolize this fat meat, Britain defeated the Portuguese, French, Dutch, and other powers, which either withdrew from India or retreated to a limited number of positions along the coast, no longer posing a threat to British interests through these activities. Britain completed the formal integration of the South Asian continent, which was a heavy task that could not be completed by successive local Indian regimes. After the British ended their colonization of South Asia, two states, India and Pakistan, were established on the basis of British India, and India inherited most of the territory of British India, through which India completed the unification of most of South Asia.